Clay, I think this is the first time you've joined me in a Godzilla movie video. We've been watching all of these together, but this one was special. This one was so important and so memorable, you had to join me for All Monsters Attack. We literally just finished watching the movie. Would you like to start us off? You know what? You said everything. You didn't say a word, and you expressed every thought and emotion that you can for this piece of shit dog steak. So we went into this.
We knew.
Because a friend of ours, God bless N7, he has seen every Godzilla movie. And I was inspired to do the same undertaking. Clay has been doing it with me. And he had said, All Monsters Attack is not only the worst Godzilla movie, it is his least favorite movie of all time. I don't think I can say that.
I've seen worse.
Like, I think Maleficent might be worse. Like,
I think Wish is worse.
Okay, Wish is probably worse.
Wish is probably worse. Wow. Okay, here's the thing. I knew this was going to be bad, because, like, at 7 had said it's his worst movie. I remember I watched James Rolfe's, like, Godzilla Marathon, and he's like, this movie is, like, the worst one. Like, this is complete dog shit. So I knew. And in my head, I was just thinking, so is this a cumulative, like, thing where it's like you watch the movie and as it goes on and on, you're just, like, you're losing it? Or is it going to be just, like, how long is it going to take for it to just suck? And it, not even 5 minutes, because as soon as the fucking intro song starts...
I didn't mind that, the go, I was like, I don't know, I kind of liked it. Yeah, but
I minded the fact that it was sung by a kid who is shrill. Like, the song is so grating on the ears.
It kind of is, but I found it kind of endearing. To me, it's like listening to the kids in American Tail singing Somewhere Out There.
Don't fucking insult American Tail by comparing it to this, okay? Because here's the thing, there's heart.
No, there is. And to me, that's kind of what I'm saying, is there's this heart to when they're singing that song. I'm like, it's not the best singing, but I appreciate it. Here, I can hear the genuine enthusiasm in the kid being like, I love Godzilla. Go, Gojira. And I'm like, it's not the best. I kind of appreciate it.
I can't. I simply can't. No. It was like in the first 5 minutes, I already wanted to paint the walls with my brain.
To use another N7 phrase, although that's about Drakencar, I wanted to paint the walls with the back of my head.
So the movie, which is about, you know, like a little kid who's like, he's like getting bullied, and like his
Wasn't it only like an hour and 9 minutes?
It was an hour and 9 minutes.
Like, how is it that short?
The question is why did it feel longer than that?
That's like what I mean. Like, it felt so long.
I think because
it's 69 minutes.
I think 69. God damn it. Even the runtime is an insult. But no, okay, so the kid's like getting bullied, like his parents aren't home, and so he just imagines he's on like Monster Island with Manila, the son of Godzilla, except now he's human sized and he talks. And have you heard what he sounds like in the English dub of this?
Oh yeah, that's why I was like, aren't we gonna be unlucky enough to see it dubbed? Because with Kong vs. Godzilla, we didn't get the choice. It was like every other movie has been subbed by default except Kong v Zilla. I was like, is this one gonna be the same? Because that would be amazing. Because I've heard it's weird.
Godzilla wants me to be stronger. That's what he sounds
like.
That's what
he sounds
but it's like in Japanese, he just has a really shrill kid's voice, which sounds like it's being like put through like he echo, like an echo chamber. Like he had this weird like echo to it.
Probably because of the suit.
Maybe because of the suit. But the majority of the movie is just the kid going to sleep and then watching stock footage of like 2 Godzilla movies. Because not even a lot of Godzilla movies. He doesn't even get to fight something like Ghidorah.
Yeah, there's no KG, there's no Rodan, there's no Mothra.
Bira and the spider. And then Gabara, who is the actual like new monster
Hey,
here.
hey, you're forgetting something important. They fight that giant bird.
That
They
is
did
also from
there's the
Akira.
stock footage from the bird.
And like the jets.
The fucking kid going, yay! After Godzilla just murdered the people in the jets. They're like, oh, okay, I'm fighting the monsters. I understand why you'd be excited. You just saw Godzilla kill people. Now,
was,
I
like,
get
at least, like,
excited when I
2,000
see
people.
Godzilla destroy shit, but I understand I'm not a good person. We're supposed to be rooting for you, like Ichiro, and wow,
We'll get to that.
we'll get to that. Oh
Okay.
boy, that's why we're here right now.
Yeah,
But
okay, so the majority, I want to say at least half of the movie is just stock footage. Because pretty much any time like Godzilla's on screen, it's stock footage from like the other movies.
at least a third.
But you want to know the worst thing about the Godzilla stock footage? It's the fact that they take out some of the actual best moments from those fights.
Like what
you
you
were saying.
You're in the claw. Like that's the
when
best part of the
or
whole movie.
like when that like the mantis ant thing is like with the rock,
And then it hits Manila in the head.
yeah, in the original, it just launches at Manila and hits him in the head. It's hilarious. They completely skip it, like right when it's supposed to happen. Or like when he's playing with Ibira's claws. It's like, no, you're missing out on like the funny shit. Which is weird because this is a comedy. This seems more like a comedy movie than anything. But meanwhile, in between his the kid's narcoleptic sessions, there's like a
Not a word I was expecting to hear today.
there's a subplot about like two dudes who stole like 50 million yen and are like hiding out and they're trying to make a getaway, and like the kid gets kind of tangled up in it because he goes urban exploring, and that's where they happen to be hiding. And I didn't care.
Dude, the whole climax, like the whole third act
Turned
is
into
this
Home
like
Alone.
really bad Home Alone movie where I didn't. Because there's this whole section
Like-
where it's just freeze framing, like they
Well,
do,
it's not just that one section. It happens
and then it
several
happens
times.
again.
Yeah,
Like
it
it's
only
so
happens those two
fucking
times.
weird.
Where like the it's like the camera's stuttering. That's what it feels like. And I think they were trying to make it seem more intense.
I think, and then you see it with the two kids wrestling, and it's the worst shit you've ever seen.
So let's go ahead and talk about that scene. Let's
Okay,
talk about.
well,
the-
okay, are we gonna save the ending for the? Because we barely talked about my boy Kabara.
Okay, let's talk about Gabara. This fucking dumbass.
Now, I have to start with N7.
Again.
The way I first was introduced to Gabara, my beloved, because I fucking love this thing. I love how goofy he looks. I love how silly he looks. I love the. They beat him with a fucking seesaw. That's hilarious. He's so pathetic. And then Godzilla gets him in a headlock and just starts punching him in the face. He's like, son, I want you to fight your own battles, beat his ass, and then after his son has proved himself, he's like, okay, now let an old pro show you
Well,
how
actually,
it's
the
done.
reason why is like, okay, so the son beats Gabara, and Godzilla's like, that's my boy, and Gabara's like, man, fuck you. He like bites him on the thigh, and Godzilla's like, oh, really?
And they just keep beating his ass, suplexes him multiple times. But so, and Seven led up to this by saying, like, have you ever perfectly been able to describe something in a word or phrase? Think of like a true name for like an old like fantasy kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's like, I've been able to do that with the monster in the most recent Godzilla movie I've seen. I like have its true name. And this is not gonna be something like very eloquent. He's just a doofus. And then he shows me a picture of Gabara. I'm like, yeah, he looks like a fucking doofus. And seeing, especially when he's trying to like get Manila, who just jumps out of the way, I'm like, he's a fucking doofus. I love him.
I
He's
think
great.
the monster design doesn't work because so he's proportioned like a regular dude, right? Until you get to the neck, which is just like way too long, and it ends in like this like stumpy head with like a really big snout and like no
With
like
active hair.
with like active. He got like this redhead shit
It's
going
fucking
on.
weird. I love it.
He's got like the shoulder touch from like Into the Spider-Verse. He's like,
Hey, and then electrocutes me.
yeah.
You described the sound Manila makes as a donkey getting kicked in the testicles, and I couldn't unhear it. That is like it's
No, that wasn't his sound. That was the sound Manila made.
no, that's what I was saying. Like
Oh,
Manila's,
okay.
it's
Sorry. Yeah.
so weird, and I don't like it. But I fucking loved Gabara. So here's what the movie is about. As you were saying, a kid is like, he gets bullied, doesn't have a lot of friends, his parents aren't very close to him, he's got a Doc Brown-like friend, and that's kind of about all he's got. So, he refers to his bully as Gabara. I guess that's like the kid's nickname or something.
Or maybe that's just his name, I don't know.
I think he had a different name, but he's like, we call him Gabara, or I call him Gabara, that's something like that. So, whatever he goes into, as you were saying, his narcolepsy sessions, he imagines Gabara as this monster on Monster Island, this big, thick-necked, red-headed, blah, 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 goofy doofus. And he imagines Manila as well as kind of this representation of himself. And Godzilla, his hero, saying, you gotta be able to fight your own battles. People aren't just gonna protect you. You have to stand up to your bullies. You have to stand up to the people who give you shit. Fair enough. And he sees like Manila getting bigger to be able to fight Gabara. It's like, okay, I gotta be strong. I gotta stand up for myself.
When they did the animation of like him getting bigger, I could just think of the mushroom sound value.
And from that perspective, as much as I wasn't enjoying the movie, I didn't hate it because I liked what they were doing. I liked the idea of this kid seeing the kaiju as a metaphor for himself and getting stronger.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't great. Like, the movie still could have been good. I would prefer it to be not stock footage, but I liked the idea. So earlier in the movie, when you first see Gabara, the human bully, not the doofus, Gabara and his droogs are like, hey, Ichiro, give us this thing you've got. I don't want it. Give us the thing. Okay. And they kind of talk shit, and they're like, hey, you know, if you want this back, you want to be like part of our crew, you see that guy over there, that painter with his bike? I want you to run over there and honk his horn. But that'll disturb him, and like the guy might fall. Yeah, it would be funny. No, I'm not gonna do that, because I'm not an asshole. Like, alright, fine, then go. So he goes, and then, you know, he wants to get bigger and stronger, and you see Manila beat Gabara, and then Godzilla beat the shit out of Gabara, because he's a doofus.
And then he beats the shit out of those two, like,
and then, yeah, the, like, Home Alone shit happens with some bad freeze frames, and it's terrible, and I didn't care anymore. And then it's like, oh, this guy represents Gabara, even though Gabara is representing the bully, so they kind of got their wires crossed.
Fire extinguisher represents
the atomic breath, because sure, dog. But then we get to the end, where now, you know, he stood up to the robbers, Manila beat Gabara, he can take on his bullies, and he encounters his bullies again, and he beats his ass with, again, more bad freeze frame, and it's awful. But it's almost funny in how terrible it is. But he kind of beats his ass, and he throws Gabara to the ground, and he's like, I don't... Yeah, it's like, you know what, kid? You did it, Ichiro. Ichiro is Ichiban. He's number one. He beat that dude's ass. From a doofus kaiju to a doofus bully. We love to see it. And then he's like, I don't need bullies. I'm better than you. He runs up and then honks the dude's horn anyways, causing the painter to fall off. Which, you know, that would cause, like, that could fucking hurt a dude. He's got paint all over his face.
Probably got paint in his, like, mouth.
And, like, his mouth and his eyes, and the kids are all laughing, and then Ichiro's like, ha, I did it, and then he runs off, and then the painter runs off after and runs into Ichiro's dad, and then his dad's like, dude, I'm fucking sorry, I'm his dad.
Ichiro's basically like, here, Dad, you take care of it.
Yeah, he's like, you take care of it, like, thanks, Dad, sorry, Mr. Painter. Like, you're not sorry. What the fuck is this? Because the whole point of,
like, pay for it,
like, the whole point of the movie is, you know, like, stand up, fight your bullies, because you know what? You can beat them. You don't need them. You're better than they are. Fight your battles. And then after he fights his battles, shows, I am above you. I don't need you. I'm gonna succumb to you anyways, and I'm gonna sink to your level. What the fuck is this? Like, it made me...
It broke you.
It did. I went from this movie is not good. It is the worst so far. Like Godzilla Raids Again is bad,
But
there's shit in there. It has Osaka and it has like the destruction of that oil refinery, which I love. They're like, this looks incredible. I like it's worse, but it's not like
it's not as bad as we were led to believe.
Yeah, and then literally those last like 2 minutes, I'm like, no. This goes against the entire point of the movie, which again, maybe wasn't the best, like, in terms of its execution, but I like the idea, and I like the theme of empowering a kid to stand up to your bullies and don't sink to their level. And then he does it anyways, because now that he's strong, he's a fucking bully too. What a piece of shit.
What a little shit.
And yeah, it's like,
That's just how the movie ends.
I don't want to say it ruined the movie because it was already bad. It's not like you took
double ruined it.
Yeah, it's
bottom of the fucking barrel.
It is like it's absolutely the bottom of the fucking barrel. It's like I can't imagine a Godzilla movie being worse than this. There's barely even got any Godzilla in it, which we say half the time anyways. But I mean, in terms of original footage, there was barely any Godzilla in this movie.
Yeah, it was bad. That was pretty bad.
But next is Godzilla vs. Hedorah, which we've heard is one of the best ones. I am excited to see another good one.
It is kind of fascinating that it's like, okay, so we've got, like, Destroy All Monsters, which is phenomenal. Then we have Hedorah after this, and then right in the middle
it's just
primo
dog shit.
It's just primo dog shit. It's weird how that works out.
But yeah, that's it for this one. The worst Godzilla movie.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm now wondering. There's at least one movie that might be a contender when we see 98.
That's a lot of fish.
That one might be worse. I don't know. I don't think it will be. I think it's gonna be like really low. Like this one's gonna
be good.
Awful.
It's not gonna be good, but I don't think it'll be insulting.
Okay, maybe a little bit, because I think the military actively kills Godzilla, and you're like, yeah,
that's not how that works.
Which, I mean, to be fair, that kind of happened in Raids Again, but also Raids Again is also bad.
I mean, Raids Again, they didn't even kill Godzilla, they
just trapped him in ice.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's, off the top of my head, that's the only one I could think of. It's like, this might be worse, but probably not.
Alright, well.
Alright, so that's that.
Yeah.